So first things first, gentlemen, how are you?
Wonderful.
Good.
How are you, man?
It's very good to hear. So before we get into what's been happening lately, I would like to jump back a little bit to the beginning of kind of the crux of the band. Now, Johnny, when you saw that 12-second or how many it was clip of Tré, what went through your mind?
I said, I don't know what it is, but he's got it, and I got to find him. You know, it was interesting, interesting timing because we were, trying to find a singer, and I saw this video. I think you're referring to on Instagram, and it was this guy singing "Signed, Sealed, and Delivered" by Stevie Wonder, and I just went, I got to find that guy. Turned out we lived pretty close to each other in Brooklyn, so we met up and. Now we're here.
We're here, man.
Because I know the seeds of this band were planted a long time ago, but was that the moment that everything kind of fell into place?
That was definitely the final and arguably most important piece of the puzzle. But you can't do it without a front man. So
I love this interview. This is awesome.
Well, from your perspective then, Tré, when Johnny or the guys asked you to join, what was your immediate reaction?
I think initially I think I ignored your message.
Yeah, I think he thought it was a joke.
Yeah, I thought it was like spam. I was like, all right, well. But when we were doing the audition, when we were filming it, I think that's when I felt like, wow, this is really cool. Yeah.
What did you sing then?
No Forever Man, which was written. Who wrote No Forever Man?
I think it was Thomas and Ty back in the day.
Ty.
Yeah, that was part of the original Ghost Hounds that, our other guitar player, Thomas, started the band back in like 2006. And
Right.
so we jammed on one of their old songs just as like an introduction kind of thing.
Yeah. And it was, from there it was golden.
And one thing that I hear a lot from bands is there is this period where you kind of have to get to know each other, and then you kind of, especially when you go on tour with each other, then that's the point where you really get to know each other. So this kind of period of the whole band kind of gelling, what was that like? And then how can you take a moment out of it that maybe a crucial point in that development?
Yeah, do you want to take that? Well, luckily, so Johnny and Blaze have been friends for a while, and Johnny and Bennett known each other for a while. So a lot of the core of the band, there was already kind of an established social situation.
Sure.
But I think musicians never really get used to each other. You just kind of learn how to manage each other,
Yeah, I think too, to your point, there is a chemistry that kind of develops and changes, and this one thing I love about this band is we're really like a family, so we've spent a lot of hours together at this point, even though it's only been 3 or 4 years. We've put in some time together and gotten to know each other in a lot of different settings. So if there was one point that, I don't know if I could put my finger on that, but I think after, when you're just playing show after show after show, there's kind of a symbiosis that happens. Yeah, synergy. That's a word I'm looking for. That happens. So it's just that teamwork. See what I mean?
In action, right?
Yeah. So it's really just a lot of time together and
a lot of music.
Was that synergy, as you say, was that on a musical level immediately as well? Because I do know that you all have somewhat different musical backgrounds.
Yeah, I mean, for me it was. I can only speak for myself, but
probably more so on the musical side than that. I think the other side caught up later. Music is a language, and that everyone in this band speaks very well. And I mean, on that side, we all hit it off pretty immediately. And then I think you get to know each other as people, you get to meet everyone's families, that kind of thing,
Yeah. Because one thing I found interesting, I was watching the Crossroads Guitar Festival documentary thing, and I think John Mayer said something about Robert Cray saying, certain music you can hear on the radio, but certain music somebody has to show you. Somebody has to go, well, this is Robert Cray, go check this out. Yeah. So how did that development within this band and kind of now on album 3, does that go, the exchange of kind of musical influences?
Oh man. Well, Johnny actually grew up listening to a lot of blues. I did not. So a lot of times, you know, these guys will be listening to songs and they'll give me songs and say, you need to listen to this. And so that's been a large part of my discovery of a lot of actually classic songs. Yeah. Yeah.
It's definitely a sharing. Sharing is caring, you know. And we all, you know, obviously we all love music, so we're always sending each other stuff. I think at one point we had like a playlist that we would just add songs to that we all had access to, and you know, just kind of.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. Another iteration of the synergy that happens between us.
Can you share perhaps one band or something that perhaps you then enjoy and the rest of the band completely hates?
Oh, I'll be right back.
There's so many. I think I may be the only Florence and the Machine fan in the band, probably.
I don't know. I feel like Bennett would probably like that band.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, okay, then yeah.
And vice versa? Does it happen the other way around as well?
I don't know, I'm pretty open musically, so I haven't heard anything from you.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York City, so you know, I grew up around everything, you know, like whether it's hip hop or jazz or R&B, blues, rock and roll. So I don't really, you know, I'm not the type of person to go like I love all music but this entire genre. You know, like I like whatever feels good.
Yeah.
So.
Can always appreciate good musicianship, good music.
Right.
Yeah.
For this band then, when did you feel like, and perhaps that's still a work in progress, but when did you feel like you were on the right path musically then? Or did it take an album, or were you kind of, was it immediate?
I can say, and again, to what we were talking about earlier, after playing, you know, so many hours together, more shows, the next record, you know, the music definitely evolved on its own, where, you know, there, I think from the first record till now, there's a pretty distinguishable difference in the sound, and that's just a product of us playing a lot together. So I don't know if there was a certain, and it's still happening, you know, it's still evolving.
It's a never-ending process.
Yeah. One thing I read in my preparation, I don't know if anybody of the band said it or was some kind of bio or something, but it's kind of trying to create a new old sound.
That's cool.
What are the intricacies kind of it is music that is very traditionally American, but then bringing it into kind of the century we are in now?
I mean, I think that because of how music evolves and how it's recycled in ways, you know, we're always gonna, everything that we do together is always gonna have the overtones of all the music that you know influences us as musicians. So I think that we are trying to pay homage to a very old sound. It's very particular. But the way that it's manifesting itself is, you know, with the flavors of all of us. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think especially, as you mentioned, the textures and kind of the sound quality even, because if you listen to those old Lightning Hopkins records or something, the quality is just, you wish it was better in a way. Yeah. So when you if we move towards the latest album then, how do you approach it? Does it become easier now that it's number 3? Was it smooth sailing, so to say?
Definitely. This last record, You Broke Me, it was a very organic recording process where we walked into a room, hit record, and just played the song. And the recording process with the technology that's around today, a lot of times can be very segmented. This one, we want to say, hey, we're playing rock and roll, we're playing blues. We want to capture the emotion that's going on in that room, and there's only one way to do that. Yeah. And so this record was literally just us playing music and having fun. And not that the other ones weren't, but, you know,
it's just the other records we were very intentional about producing certain sounds and this was more just organic and rootsy. We just wanted to play music together and give that as it is, you know, or as close to it as it is.
And I suppose considering the couple of years that we've had with all the lockdowns and everything, that must have been great to be in the same room and to kind of enjoy the company of each other.
Yeah, well, when we got back into the room, but obviously with, you know, we all wanted to be healthy and safe. So we there was a period where we weren't playing, but
Yeah,
when we did have the chance to get back in the studio,
it was pretty awesome.
we're pretty
Very special.
pretty appreciative of that, you know.
There's one song in particular I'd like to jump into, and that's Through Being Blue Over You. What was the origins or the crux of this song? What are the starting points?
Well, Thomas, that's a tune that Thomas wrote, and I think the idea of it is, you know, when you're in a situation with another person and it's, you know, through being blue over you just means like enough is enough, you know, like I don't want to feel this way. So I think we can all relate to that, and
Yeah.
sometimes the timing of these questions is really funny, but
Now, Thomas likes to tell stories, you know, the song. So this particular song is just about the main character's in a position where they've done some grieving, and they've reached a part in their grieving process where it's just release. It's like, you know what? I've been blue over you for a while, and now I'm done doing that. So.
You mentioned it's very timely, so I'm going to try anyway. So does this apply to either one of your...
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
lives currently,
Like exactly at this moment.
I'm,
You don't have to get into it if you don't want to.
well, I think we all have that point where we just go, all right, this is taking away, it's not adding, you know, and I think relationships in general should be adding and enhancing your life, so.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, that was.
One thing I hear from people, especially touring musicians a lot, is that it is difficult to be in a relationship because you have to make certain concessions. You're away from home a lot. How have you found it?
Oh man, if you knew how on the nose this was right now.
Sorry if I putting you
No,
in the spot.
it's all right. It's all right. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, listen, it's tough for us too. You know,
Sure.
Living out of a suitcase. I mean, I wouldn't trade it for the world, but it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Being a musician is definitely a very specific lifestyle. You know, it's comparable to being a gypsy. You know, and so sometimes people have goals in life, and they have an idea of how they want their life to look, and that just doesn't match with being a gypsy. You know, so.
What I find interesting then, and it might sound like a silly question, but what makes it worth it then? Is it that hour on stage? Is that kind of the payoff?
It's almost, for me,
Good interview.
like, it's almost like music holds you captive. You know, when we work on music, it's not because like we want to be famous. That would be great, but music comes from somewhere deep inside, and it's almost not even a choice. You know?
Yeah, it chooses you.
Yeah.
So this was for both of you from very early on. It was okay. This is kind of the path
yeah.
I'm walking.
Oh yeah.
Yep. For better or for worse.
Fair enough. But now let's focus on the better then, because you're touring with the likes of Bob Seger. You've toured with Billy Gibbons and ZZ Top, and now the Rolling Stones. So, and within a couple of years of the band being kind of the core that it is now. So first, how do you wrap your mind around kind of everything that's happening? And then secondly, do you take away something from each of these artists as you see them operate?
Yeah, I mean,
100%.
I think it's really important just in life in general, but it's really important to stay present and to appreciate what's going on when it's happening. Because, I mean, all the artists that you just named that we've played with, you know, these are all pinch me moments. You're going, is this really happening? And it happens so quick too, and it's gone before you know it. So just really staying present. And in terms of taking something away from each one, I mean, you're watching the Masters, you know, so every single person that we've been lucky enough to watch from, you know, side stage or whatever it is, you know, they're what do they say? Success leaves clues, you know, so you just watch that and you take notes.
Pick up those breadcrumbs.
What is one clue that you found around the Rolling Stones, because you're playing with them or opening for them tonight? So what is one thing that you've kind of saw that they do or that sparked your interest?
For me, the first show that I actually got to watch, Keith came out, and his face was on the screen, and he just looked into the audience and he said, thank you for letting me do this. And that's how I feel every time. It's like, wow, these people are here to see the Rolling Stones, but you guys, thank you so much for letting me do this. It's just, like you said, being present and really just allowing gratitude to just be a part of the whole process.
Yeah. And you can tell they have fun still, you know. You can really, it really translates. You can see it on the look on their faces. And after, you know, the 60th year of doing this, it's a pretty impressive thing to maintain. So we just try to take the hint there and try to do that ourselves, you know. Yeah.
Also, I wonder like how seriously they take themselves, you know. They're there having a great time, just having a ball, you know. And I think of all the things that come to my head when I go to stage, like all the things you have to remember, but really it's just about fun.
Yeah, that's the most important thing,
you know. The most important thing.
Well, it's something you alluded to earlier, where obviously it would be nice to have the fortune and fame with it, but that's not why you do it, right?
Yeah.
Listen, I've been playing music for a long time, and that was never the motivating factor. You know, like that is a byproduct of just having fun and you know, being a student of your craft. But there were some eating ramen noodle days, you know, for sure.
Oh yes.
Do you look, because I can imagine as you're going through that might be difficult, as any struggling musician, that might be difficult. But now looking back on it, do you look at it fondly as kind of that was the period where you were honing your craft and it was necessary to get where you are now?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. I think every musician needs to have like a period of time where they're just working every day. You're gigging here and then you leave that one and you go do another one and you just do it every day. I think it's like serving in the military almost, you know. Just got to get those reps in. You got to get like.
Pay your dues.
Yeah, you got to pay your dues.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, when I look back at that, I go, okay, you really love this. You put yourself through that, you know. So it is. You do kind of look back at those days with like, I mean, they weren't that long ago, you know. So, but yeah, there's some nostalgia there, and you appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
So finally then, because I do think as a band you are ambitious, you do want to kind of grow and see what else you can accomplish. So especially musically, how do you see this, you mentioned already the development from album 1 to now, how do you see this development continuing into the future?
Well, we're working on a new record, and that it's funny because this record that we're making now is very different from the previous one. So I think just there's a natural
progression.
Yeah, natural progression that really.
That we hope we can just keep going.
Just
let it grow some momentum and see where we end up.
We just want to play good music and have fun.
Yeah.
So that's hopefully where it'll get more fun and better music hopefully.
Yeah, and then maybe people will come to see us play. Yeah.
Well, let's hope so. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for taking the time. Appreciate it. Nice shirt, by the way.
Shirt.
I noticed your shirt.
I know.